Hey there guys, Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review. Hope you're all doing well. A couple months back we did a video on basically how to clean your hydration bladder. And since that point in time, we've had so many people writing in asking how do you choose the right bladder for you. And guys, that's what this video is about. Let's get started. Now when you're in the market for a hydration bladder, generally they come in one of three different sizes. You have 1 liter, 2 liter, or 3 liters. Now, of course, there are variances to this. Sometimes you'll find little differences such as like 1.8 liters, 2 whatever liters, but generally speaking, you're looking at 3 different sizes: the 1 liter, the 2 liter, and the 3 liter. Now, one important aspect to look at is your hydration carrier, the pack that you're going to be carrying that bladder in. Will it, hold a 3 liter bladder, or will it hold a 2? Now, if you're not willing to have, go out and purchase a bigger carrier and yours carries a 2 liter, go with a 2 liter. But of course, if you have a full-size pack that could carry a full-size 3 liter hydration bladder, go for the largest size possible. That's certainly my advice. The difference between weight with a 1 liter to a 3 liter is generally just fractions of an ounce, so go with the larger one. And if you have to, if your trip doesn't really require 3 liters of water, only fill it to 2 liters or a liter, depending on whatever your adventure might be. The truth is, you're not going to notice the difference of a 1 liter hydration bladder compared to a 3 liter hydration bladder. A good example of weight comes with this Platypus Big Zip. A 2 liter version of this only weighs 5.5 ounces, and a 3 liter only weighs 5.8 ounces. So, you're not going to really notice the difference between the two. But of course, if you have a 3 liter, you're going to be able to hold that much more water. You're going to be able to go that much further without having to fill it up. When you're looking at a 2 liter, or maybe say a 3 liter, the price difference is going to be very minimal. Usually just $1 or $2 difference. Now also, with hydration bladders, there's 2 main types. There's non-pressurized, and then there's pressurized versions. Now when comparing those two, I personally go for the non-pressurized version, just because they're simpler to use, they're lighter weight, and they're less expensive. With the pressurized ones, you have an additional hose, and you have a little ball where you have to, push air to the bladder itself. And, to me, it's almost just a little bit gimmicky. It's pretty nice if you want to take a shower with it. Okay, there you go. But, for my uses, I've never been a real big fan of those. Just, for the factors that I've mentioned already: price, weight, a little bit more complicated, and so on. It also becomes a bigger factor when you want to clean them, because there's those additional components and so on. Of course, depending on what you're looking for, you may be interested in a pressurized system. A good example, a good company that makes those is Geigerrig. They make good stuff. I happen to have one of their kits myself, and I do like it, but it's not something that I grab, first when I'm going out on an adventure. Normally, I don't need to take a shower. I don't need to spray off my shoes or anything like that. So I just go for the old-fashioned type where you just have to suck on it, and it suits me just fine. Also, when it comes to filling the bladder themselves, there are generally 2 different types, just like you have right here. One with a screw cap and one with a zipping, locking mechanism. Now personally, I happen to like these with the zippered top a great deal. They're extremely easy to fill up with water, and they're extremely easy to clean. Because you could just unzip that, and you can actually stick your hand in there and clean it out. With bladders like this, with a screw lid, you're looking at a smaller hole. You gotta kind of work your hand in there. It's just a little bit more complicated to, clean out, and in some cases, even fill up. Now, they do have other models that have much smaller holes where you actually have to use tools and instruments such as brushes and so on to clean out. And that just adds another step, to the cleaning process. Also, one thing that should be mentioned, that, with a big opening such as this zip, it's a whole lot easier to dry it out. You can shove a little cup inside this that'll hold it open, and it'll dry on its own. When you have the smaller holes, it's harder to actually keep them open so they can air dry. Here before you are 3 different types of hydration carrier. Of course, you have this one here that has a screw top, this one which has the zip, and this one here that also has a screw top. Now, one aspect to really pay attention to that I find extremely important are the hoses. Some bladders have a quick connect and release, such as this. This one has one as well, but this one does not. Now you can wiggle that off, but it takes quite a bit of work to get it back on, so on and so forth. It's a little bit more pain in the butt. Now when it comes to cleaning these, just super simple. You could just disconnect, you can dry out the hose if you need to, you can clean it, you can replace the hoses, and the bite valves, super simple. As you can see here, with this bladder, it actually has an insulated tube cover on it. And really, for this video, we're not going to be really talking about that. You know, that's namely for winter use, just to prevent the water from freezing in the tube. And of course, you can get insulated packs and so on, but that's for another video. So just basically to go back over those options again, you have different sizes. You need to find one that suits your carrier and also your needs. I think personally, it's always better to go with the largest bladder possible and then fill it up to the level, you know, that you need for whatever adventure that you're going on. Then you need to look at how to fill the bladder. Which way do you prefer? Now personally, I like the zip top that comes with the platypus. Super simple. You can really fill this up, you know, even in the like really tough situations with small little ponds, it's really easy to get water in there. Much easier than say with a screw top. Also then again, you have to look at cleaning it. It sure is a whole lot simpler to get your hand inside of this to clean it out than to shove it inside one of those openings, especially if the opening on the screw cap is smaller. Also, when it comes to sealing this, zipping that up and sliding that on, just like so, is really simple. It's just a step easier than having to line up the lid and all that good stuff to get a good fit. There you go, just like that. The next aspect to look at is the hose and if it offers a quick release. To me, I think that's really easy, especially if I will be storing my bag for a long period of time. I want to make sure to dry it out and all that good stuff. Being able to disconnect that from the bladder itself effortlessly is worth just a couple more dollars. So there you go, guys. There are some of the options and choices and variables that are before you when you're looking to purchase a hydration bladder. Of course, everybody's tastes are different. I happen to like the zipper top, I like the quick release, I like the ease of cleaning and so on. But for you, you may like a different option. And of course, everybody's 2 cents is their own. So guys, if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Make sure to check out our Facebook page, The Outdoor Gear Review, and our website, theoutdoorgearreview.com. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk soon.